Hey, Mr. Clash here, and today we're going to cover a very, very important topic, and it is funneling. Funneling 101, how to funnel like a pro. That's what we're going to be basically aiming to get to. Funneling like a pro. All of your attacks that involve some kind of funneling, this is where it starts. You get this wrong, you're behind the 8 ball, you're really going to be struggling from that point on. You don't need to. So we'll have a look at this base here. Now this is going to be a fail, so what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at a fail, then we're going to have a look at 3 successes, then we're going to have a look at another fail, and then we're going to have a look at another 3 successes. So by doing that, seeing the fail, pointing out what could be done, and then seeing how it's not done, and then why it failed. Okay, so the first thing you need to know, you have to pick a point to go into the base. So in this case, the attacker wants to come in here somewhere, anywhere along here. It doesn't matter, anywhere along here. The principle will be the same, and the principles are the same with funneling no matter what. So the thing is, you want to get the king in. You're coming in with a hog attack, so in some way, shape or form, you want to come in and try and get to this queen, coming in through here to try and get to the queen that way in some way. Okay, so that's the plan. Alrighty, now, when you're funneling, you need to understand you've got troops, they all have certain AI. The golems will go to weapons, hogs will go to weapons, balloons will go to weapons, giants will go to weapons. Now, what doesn't go to a weapon is pretty well everything else. And wall breakers, of course, go to a wall. Everything else goes to the nearest thing, whatever the thing is. Goblins go to the nearest storage resource, but everyone else goes to a thing. So, if you want to make a troop go to somewhere, you need to help direct it to that place. Okay, so we want to come in here, let's just say. Now, standard hog thing, we all know, drop a golem, and drop some wizards. But this is the key part. Where do you drop the wizards? Because remember, your king and queen will go to the nearest thing. And this applies for bowlers too. So to get them in here, you want the king to have this, possibly, this elixir store, as the nearest thing to where you drop him. It might be the archer tower as the nearest thing to where you drop the king. That's what you need to be thinking of. Now, to get him into here, you can see if you drop him here, this is the nearest thing. Then he might go this way, then he'll go this way, then this way, and whoa, okay. So you can get that. That's what's going to happen. You need to stop this pathing, this zigzag pathing, whichever way it goes. All right, I know I'm waffling on a bit, but I need to just reiterate that very, very strong point. Okay, so if you want to get the king in here, you need to stop that from happening. You need to wipe that out. You need to wipe this out, and this even. Now, if you did these 3 things and you drop the king here, he will wander around like this. Oh, nowhere else to go. I have to go in. So you get this. You need to cut off these escape routes for your king. And you need to know that where you're going to cut them off is really, really important. Look, we'll get into this because what I want to show you is when I talk about pathing, and you've seen me talk about balloon pathing and things like that, and you're going to see that same element come into play that I'm always talking about. So the wizard's gone down, beautiful, drop a golem on the left, golem sort of on the right. Okay, 3 golems coming in. Okay, now here we go, bang. Uh-oh, first little bit of an error. All the wizards have gone down in the middle, but the middle is what you definitely want to leave up. You want to drop the wizards on the outside of this golem. Bang, bang. On the outside of this golem. Bang, bang. That's where you want to drop the wizards, to leave the trash in the middle so that the king can follow it like a breadcrumb. Okay, so let's continue, and then we'll see what you need to know in terms of your pathing and how that relates. So wizards have taken care of the middle. Okay, you think the barracks has gone down on the left, pretty good. Gold storage, okay, stop there. Now, the reason I stopped that there, Why did the king not go to the archer or this elixir? Remember those little lines that I keep saying to draw between things? And then you come out. Look at that. This camp is the nearest thing to the king, and I'll keep this line there because we're going to see what happens to the queen as well here in a second. So this is why the king is pathing to the left. Okay, ready for the queen? Look at that. She went over there as well because she was dropped on that side of the line. Now she'll come in because the queen's range is a little bit different, but the king's a lost cause now. Okay, so keeping that in mind, that's why that needed to go down. Once that camp was down, I'll just remove that line. Once that camp was down, you do that line like that. You drop the king here, he'll go in. This stuff was down, the nearest stuff was in here, the king will go in. Okay, so you know now not what to do. Let's go have a look at some successes. All right, now this is the first success that we've got. Now pay really close attention to the golem wizards. Golem, wizard, wizard, and the third wizard there. Golem, wizard. Now notice this wizard at the bottom is on the outside of the golem. Notice the wizard at the top have taken out the stuff on the right hand side. Now look at these three items there. They are now breadcrumbs for the king to go in. So you want the king to go in, you need to take the outside stuff away, and then the king has the middle stuff as breadcrumbs to go in. The same principle applies with bowlers, but here that's how, look at that, all three went in beautifully. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. All right, now this is one of my attacks. Now my goal is to get the king in through this area here with a jump spell. Now I need to cut off his escape routes here. So I'm using a minion to take this out, then I'll be using some wizards to take that out. These three things, whether they're up or down, they become breadcrumbs. And even if they're down, that's great because any jump spell in this area, the king will have to path in, as you'll see. Okay, so let's just keep having a look at this for the moment. So you can see I've dropped the wizard down. Now if this wizard on the left takes out this pump, that's fine. Golems are in. Watch where I drop the king. He's zeroed into where that wizard's going, but once that goes down, what's next? Air defense. So you can see that minion that I dropped was very, very important because that cut off his route to make the inside air defense the next closest thing. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Now what's good about this is you can use anything to create a funnel. So you just saw I was using golems and wizards. You can use baby dragons, you can use minions. In this case, part of the funnel is created by a queen walk. So as long as it's the same principle, it doesn't matter what troop's using it. It doesn't matter if it's a baby dragon taking stuff out. It doesn't matter if it's a queen taking stuff out. The principle is all the same. You are trying to direct your king specifically to go into the base. That's if that's where you want the king to go. It might be bowlers that you want to have go into the base, in which case it's the same sort of logical thing that applies. So send the golem down, wizard there, wizard there. So the outside pump now has the wizard taking it out. So that leaves 3 breadcrumbs in the middle for bowlers, king, whatever. So the barracks is about to go down. The queen's engaged with the dragon. Now the wall breakers are going to come in and look at this. Breadcrumbs, 2 breadcrumbs dropping the wizard down on the right hand side to take out the mine. The king will go to the mine. Now have a look where the bowlers are. The bowlers have nowhere else to go. They could go to the cannon, but also go inside. There's nowhere else for them to go. And once the cannon's down, those other bowlers really should have gone inside. But you can see the principle involved in that. So let's have a look now at another fail. All right, now in this base you can see we have a little bit of a problem. We need to get into the middle of the base. Now to do so, if you want to drop something on this expo, now remember my little dark lines that I say you need to draw these lines, you need to draw these lines all the time. Whatever the next thing is over here on the right hand side, if it's that archer tower, you need to draw these lines. Oh, look at that. You can't get into there. So you need to take this, you need to draw your lines a little bit further out. Okay, now I'm looking sort of good, which means I need to take out all of this sort of stuff right up until here. And then if I drop my king here, as long as there's an opening, the king will go in, or other troops as well will go in. All right, so let's just begin on this attack to see how wide the funnel actually needs to be to get in on these ring bases. So just waiting for the attack to begin now. So golem down there, outside wizards, brilliant stuff. So cutting off that outside path. Now, I just mentioned that previously, putting the wizards on the outside of the golem. So here again, golem's down, wizards are on the outside. So brilliant funneling technique right off the bat there, creating a nice cutting off the escape routes. Now, unfortunately, there's no way in for the king at the moment. Wall breakers, they might get in, but they don't really have anywhere to go. So once the king's destroyed these weapons, have a look, the next thing closest will be the Tesla over into that side and the barracks. So once these Valkyries go through, everyone's routing over to the Tesla. Valkyries go in, king goes in, oh, Valkyries have taken out the Tesla, now the king goes walking, and of course with nothing in the middle for the bowlers, they sort of split up and they go wandering as well. Okay, so you can see what happened there. All right, let's move on to the next, a successful attack. Okay, let's just get straight into this as well. I'm pretty sure that you're beginning to see how these sort of principles are in play in every single attack. Minions on the right-hand side at the top, wizards on the left side of the golem, so the outside of the golem, leaving those nice little breadcrumbs in the middle for any heroes like the king and even the bowlers coming in. So here comes the king. He has nowhere left to go. He can't path left or right because there's nothing there for him. He has to go straight in. So that's that principle in action every single time, and that is taking the outside stuff away and leaving the inside up in some way, shape or form for the king if you can. Let's go have a look at the next one, and let's just dive straight into this one as well. So we again waiting for the initial troop deployment. So here we've got some archers up the top and archer on the left, just to take out the builders' huts to make sure nothing is going to go awry. Drop an archer down the bottom. Okay, here we go. Golem, wizards on the outside there. Now we're going to have another golem and wizards on the outside of the golem. Now the archer hadn't started targeting that golem yet, but the same sort of principle is involved, starting to clear that wide funnel so that there's nowhere left for anything else to go. Now, of course, the queen's had to activate, has had to zero and take out the clan castle. Now there's a hole in the base. Now have a look. There's nothing else for anywhere. There's nothing nearby for anything else to go to. Bowlers will go in. King will go in. And that is another successful funnel created. Okay, so now let's go and have a look at the last funnel. And let's get straight into this one as well. Now remember the principle. Golem put wizards on the outside. Golem put wizards on the outside. Now the golem went down first here. Probably should have gone down a second and possibly put over to the right a little bit more than it was, but that's okay. Wizard still went down on the outside, going to take out the camp. Now see that? Second golem, wizards on the outside. Now it didn't quite, the wizard went down a little bit too soon until the archer, but now you've got some nice little breadcrumbs in the middle. The wizard will eventually take out this archer tower down in the corner. Now wall breakers came in, you saw the test wall breaker, beautiful. Now the king goes down, that last little breadcrumb for the king. There's nowhere else for the bowlers to go. They have to go into the core, and that is it. Every single funnel, it doesn't matter if you use a golem and wizards, it doesn't matter if you use a queen, to funnel your queen walk, you're using the same principle. You take out the stuff where you don't want her to go, so she's forced to follow her breadcrumbs to where you want her to go. In this case, if you can leave a little breadcrumb in the middle, it will be so much easier for the king to just follow that breadcrumb straight into the base, and you'll get into the base. So if you or your clanmates are having trouble getting your troops into the base, it doesn't matter what troops they are, it's the same principle involved. You need to clear away the outside stuff and leave them nowhere else to go, because they will always go to the nearest thing. And if those nearest things are always in the middle, just following like a trail of breadcrumbs to go into the base, then that is that. So that is funneling 101. Keep at it, you'll be funneling like a boss in no time at all. So that's it for today's video. Now, of course, question of the day is, how do you communicate with a fish? How do you communicate with a fish? Why? You drop them a line. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Thank you for sticking around to the end. Leave the video a thumb up. Let me know what you thought of the video or any other funneling techniques that you have. I'll try and cover them. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.